Hey guys, Ugo here. I hope you're doing well. This is the 99 days of value, and this is day, I believe, 15. I'm not using the flip chart. I'm really just, I just felt like standing. So for today's day of value and the 99 days of value, obviously, it's a mixture of everything in terms of financial, cognitive, leadership, life skills, all that kind of stuff. Obviously, try to turn hindsight into foresight. And this one is just, I guess, it's a bit of an advice or more of an understanding of how kind of things work. But ultimately, life is what it is. It's a struggle at times, and it's going to hit curveballs. And so a lot of times when people go through things, or like you start something, or it's more like an understanding that whenever you're going to start a new venture, it's almost like the New Year's resolution situation. Or if you're going to start a new venture or take a new step, understand that there are definitely going to be trials and tribulations along the way. Now, regardless if you put in the work or you put in all these things, they're going to be, because if you imagine, let's say you want to start a business, there's going to be so many roadblocks about you starting a business. If you want to lose weight, there's going to be so many roadblocks about you losing weight. If you want to start eating good, it's going to be loads of roadblocks. If you want to start making more money, loads of roadblocks. You want to start spending more time with your family, there'll be loads of roadblocks. Now, ultimately, these roadblocks are somewhat good, because ultimately when you pray to God, the universe, or Mother Nature, or you're asking the world to, I want to do X, Y, Z, it will put things in there to say, are you sure? If you want to start a business, then there'll be so many things that, most businesses, there's like a forming period. Everybody needs to go through that storming period. If you want to establish a relationship with a friend, it's going to, at each point in time that, let's say you're reconciling, at each point in time, it's going to be like, are you sure? Let's say you want to lose weight, for example. The first time you go out and you start jogging, it's a drag. It's not the greatest thing. But things become easier over time when you kind of push through it, essentially, and understand that, like, that's just how life is. Ultimately, it's not essentially that, some people look at it as like, okay, it's like when I'm now single and I don't want nobody, that's when everybody comes to find me. That's just the universe asking you, are you sure you want to be single? That's where that's where when you say what you want to do and you try to be it, that's the reason why when people are like, when I jump into a relationship, that's what these people want to come find me. It's like that's the people just being like, are you sure you want to still be there? It's up to you to kind of decide that, okay, am I going to let what life happens to me and let me be, like, affect me, or am I going to control the way I react to it? Because there's one thing to understand, that just because we want something, and there's a level of, I guess, entitlement that sometimes derails us from actually getting to where we want to, because sometimes we're moaning about we're doing X, Y, Z, we're doing all this kind of things. The truth of the matter is, you do not inherently deserve anything. You're not inherently entitled to anything. You earn pretty much anything to have the point to be able to say you deserve it. It's like, there's good leaders, there's bad leaders, there's good parents, there's bad parents. You don't just inherently, essentially, there's good footballers, there's bad footballers. You don't inherently just deserve anything or entitled to any kind of thing in this life, whether that be respect or whatever. You come to a place where you've demonstrated yourself to earn these things. Now, ultimately, the things that you are due from the get-go are stuff like respect, because ultimately, in my mind, it's not that you earn respect realistically. You should be giving it to this person in the first place, and then the person loses it. But ultimately, it's still, in most cases, something you have to earn to cement that you deserve X, Y, Z based on what you've actually earned, if that makes sense. And this goes with the same things about trials and tribulations in life. Things are gonna come when you're trying to do whatever you're trying to do, and you might say, sometimes we even say things that we deserve based on negative or positive. Either way, you don't necessarily, because sometimes you don't necessarily, when you earn it, you appreciate it. When you feel you deserve it at this level of entitlement, you do not appreciate it. So understand that life is going to throw things in your way whenever you're trying to do anything. That's the reason why you need to understand that you are never going to be 100% ready for whatever you want to start. There's absolutely no right time to do anything. Ultimately, you create the right time by starting. The right time was always yesterday, and the best next time is today. And times are going, time is ticking. So understand that those trials will come. Embrace it, because what you have to understand, and I've had to do this multiple times in my life, but sometimes you have to understand that the version of yourself right now is not equipped to deal with the challenges you have now. But you have to sit down, like reconfigure yourself, and have to rise to the occasion, if that makes sense. If I used to be shy, I have to understand that I had to leave the shy person behind me in order to do the public speaking. If I wasn't good at editing, I'm gonna have to leave that person behind to get there. So, and then understand sometimes you have to go back to that previous version of yourself in order to go back to who you used to be. But people, don't stay connected to people's versions of you, because people's versions of you is their last snapshot of me. Like, for example, if you met me if you met me 2 months ago, I've definitely excelled past who I was 2 months ago, a year ago. But the version you're stuck with is the person that was there 5 years ago. That's not who I am today, and we're always changing and stuff like that. It's up to you to kind of continue to not say upgrade yourself, but uplift yourself from where you are currently, because who you are might not be equipped to go through the challenges that you are there right now. But these challenges are there not to suppress you, or it's like called growing pains. It's the challenges are there for you to overcome, because ultimately, if you're religious, they say God don't give you any challenges you can't handle, but ultimately how you respond to it. And if you realize that you are having the same problem on multiple of times, then clearly you've not learned the lesson. Clearly you've not learned the lesson. Ultimately, if it's that you need to speak up more, there's going to be multiple situations that will come up that you didn't speak up. You're going to need to speak up. That's you leaving that version of you that didn't speak up. It's not necessarily, that's leaving that person behind. Sometimes some people dramatically say you have to kill that version of you. And essentially, because that version of you is holding you back to become who you need to be in order for you to overcome these roadblocks that are coming. Life's a journey. It's not a race. And as you're going through the journey of life, imagine if you're going through a car, there's speed bumps, there's red lights, there's amber lights, there's zebra crossings, there's elephant crossings, there's pelican lights, there's so many different things. But ultimately, if you get through those, you get to your destination. Even if you're in traffic, or you're in hold up or go slow, or however you want to call it, even if the M4 locked up, not wood, because I need it tomorrow, but you will still eventually, things will keep moving. Eventually you reach your destination at a certain point. Now obviously, ultimately, the time in which you reach it may be different for you. It might not be as quick as you want to do, or it might not take as long as you want to. You might be going too quick for your comfort, and you might be going too slow for your comfort, but ultimately everybody's at their own time, and so you have to readjust to understand those things, and understand that you might need to leave that version of you to get there. So ultimately, life is what it is. The more you waste time fighting it, the less time you do to develop yourself to become the version to actually get to where you want to do and beat the challenges that's coming there. Because ultimately it's like a game. When you go into this new level, there are things around, and ultimately understand you don't have to do these things by yourself. Most things that you need to complete your journey, you'll find on your journey. If you need people, if you wanted to start a business, or you wanted to if you wanted to buy a house, you're not gonna, when you're not even saving or not even looking for somewhere to buy a house or nothing like that, there's no mortgage broker that is going to go find you randomly to go and help you buy a house. No, it's when you show the intention to go and buy a house, you start inquiring, you start viewing places. That's with anything. When you want to look for jobs, it's not, if you're just there waiting for somebody to come and show you how to look for jobs, it's not going to happen. When you start writing your CV, somebody will help look at you. When you start actually applying, then you can find all these sites and these agencies, CV Library, Grad Cracker, whatever it may be, Indeed, and these guys will help you find a job. The people you need to help you are along your way. So ultimately, start, but understanding whatever goal you set yourself, don't waste time starting, because the start is not always the funnest part. It's the uplifting one, because, and let's actually add this as a bonus. Take it easy. Because sometimes the mistake a lot of people make, especially like this is the reason why most people don't fulfill their New Year's resolutions, or when you wake up and almost an epiphany, you want to change your life too quick. Don't make these things, even though you need to start, don't set yourself somewhere too high that you will just kind of fail. Don't go from never going to the gym to now be going to the gym 5 times a week, because that's unsustainable for who you are. Now you're leaving that version of you, but you want to leave that person successfully as a past chapter of yourself, that you can look back at that chapter and say, these are good things that this person did. But what happens is that if you stretch yourself too far and you go from no gym to 5 days a week, 5 days a week, 5 days a week, 5 days a week, and you start eating, change your diet quick. It gets to a point where you feel like you're harming yourself. It gets to a point where you feel like you're depriving yourself, and that's where you come and say, I deserve to have this cheat day. I deserve to have this Nando's. And before you know it, winter body. And then you now start doing it cyclical. You come summer body ready, and then now your winter body done. Listen, because now what happened is now you've stretched yourself so far that it was unsustainable, and now you've run back to the previous version of yourself, which keeps you in your comfort zone. And like I said in the previous video, your comfort zone means that there's no real growth, no sustained growth. The whole thing is about pushing your comfort zone. And when you start trying to transform yourself into somebody, it's about giving yourself steps to go. Because remember, if you go from 0 to 70 and then to 90, the only places you can fall is to 70 and to 0. If you give yourself 0 to 20 to 30 to 70 to 50, make it progressively going up. So don't set yourself goals that are unnecessarily unachievable, but don't set them that are too easy, like, start something that is small, easy, but challenging, that will stretch you a bit, and then continues to evaluate. Once you've cleared this level, continue to evaluate and get yourself to the point, and then ultimately establish some level of consistency, because life will continue pushing you down. And like I said in previous ones, it takes 5 to 7 years for most businesses to get even a profit. It's going to take a long time before you sustain a level of trust, or whether it's an intimacy or in relationships and business partners and whatever. All these come with the factor of time. So not wasting your time is important, but then persevering through the challenges, is what really comes through it. Most people make stronger bonds in adversity than in good times, and then using those both in combination to solidify whatever goal you're trying to do with yourself or with others will ultimately help you get where you're trying to be. So my name is and has been Ugo. Your name is and has been and will be blessed. And I hope you've had a lovely day, and I hope this added some value in a different perspective. Ultimately, we are who we are, but we're so many different versions. If we're a book, there's so many chapters, and even in the 1 year from your birth to your birthday, you might have changed 6 different times to get to where you need to be, because new challenges that come, things you've never dealt with before will come, and you just have to rise to the occasion and figure it out along the way. Ask for counsel, ask for a mentor, look for help, ask for it, but ultimately the answers are in you. In the words of Lion King, I don't even know if it fits, but I just want to say it. He lives in you. But yeah, I hope you did well, and yeah, it's on all platforms, so have a blessed day. Take care. Bye. Wow, dry lips. Not good. I need to go get some Vaseline.